What's up, YouTube? If you are familiar with Vortex optics, then some of you guys recognize what I have in front of me here. 3 out of the 4 are laser rangefinders, and then we have the Viper HD binoculars over here. These are 10x42s. The 2 recently released from Vortex, the Razor HD 4000 7x25, and then we have the Fury HD 5000 laser rangefinder binoculars here. These are 10x42s as well. And then we got my old beat up Ranger 1500. Let's talk about them. All right, so I know there's a lot of people out there that's in the market for some rangefinders, and you know, if you're wanting that technical information as far as numbers, you're probably gonna have a little bit better luck finding that information online. Going over to Vortex Optics, they got full specs on each product here. I'm just wanting to give you guys some honest feedback on what I experienced in the field with these rangefinders. It's been an interesting journey with them because I've never used them in the past before. And recently I started getting into some mid-range to long-range shooting, and I needed to range. Now, some folks are going to be like, well, why don't you just have this app? Well, there's a lot of areas where I'm at where I just don't get any type of reception. And even with the apps, I can't get an accurate reading. It takes forever to load. And whenever I'm hunting and I'm scanning and looking around pastures and I see animals that I'm looking for, the app isn't quick enough. The app is just not ideal. It's something that's just not practical for the field. You have to have some type of rangefinder on you. Everybody's hunting is a little different. You got guys that do elk hunting, deer hunting, hog hunting, coyote hunting. You got to range certain areas to kind of get an idea of what to expect, especially when you're calling in coyotes. Okay, this area here is 250, 300, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, we can go down the list with all the types of hunting. And me, I'm constantly on the move. I don't hunt from a deer blind. I'm always on the move. And whenever I'm driving around and I do see something, I like to get that type of range. When I'm hunting during the daytime. You guys know me, 90% of the time I'm hunting at night. But I still got to get those accurate readings, okay? And that's when I grabbed the 1500. I knew I didn't need anything long range. I just needed a rangefinder, you know? Guys, this thing is beat up. I mean, there's mud on it right now. It's scratched up. It's not looking good, and you can see it's like faded compared to the rest of the optics that I have right here. But it got the job done. One thing that I did notice with the 1500, it's not 1500 yards. Okay, ideally, you know, you're looking at about 800 to 1,000 yards. Which was perfect for me because I wasn't shooting pigs during the daytime that far. I just needed to know if they were 200, 300, 400, 500 yards. We're setting up targets during the day when we're shooting. Usually it's around 700 to 800 yards because the property won't allow us to shoot 1,000 yards just because of the terrain. Use this for years, no problems. And it's still on the same battery. Love this thing. And it's been wet, it's been cold, it's been dropped. Keeps on ticking. All right, so I started getting into binoculars and I was like, you know what, let me try these things out. My entire time shooting, it's always been a scope or binocular, a spotting scope, looking through my rifle scope, looking through thermals. I'm always using my dominant eye. I never use both eyes. And I was like, well, let me go ahead and play around with some binoculars and see how this is going to work out. I see everybody else using them. That's when I got into the Viper HD. All right, I'm scanning, looking around, finding stuff. Oh, wow, okay, but what's the range? What's the range? You know, I couldn't get a range on it. So I had to pack the Viper HD and the Ranger 1500 at the same time. I'm like, this isn't practical. So then I'm just sitting around waiting, and I'm like, man, Vortex got to come out with something soon. And bam, the Fury HD 5000. Same magnification. This is a 10x42 and these are 10x42s. And it's obvious that the Fury is a little bit bigger. There's obviously some stuff that's internally, as far as electronics and stuff like that. But as far as the quality of glass, if you guys have ever looked through the Viper HDs, you know what I'm talking about. The clarity is great. And that's the same type of clarity that you're going to get with the Fury HD. But now you have a built-in rangefinder. Now, when you hear the number 5,000, don't start thinking immediately you're going to range out to 5,000 yards. That's not true. I want to say minimum range is 5 yards and reflective range out to 5,000 yards. Now, deer, oh, you know what? I got the box right here. Hold on. I'm over here trying to remember. I got the box right here. So, minimum range is 5 yards. Deer range is up to 1,600 yards. And tree range 2,400 yards, and reflective range up to 5,000 yards. So, you know, you guys that are deer hunting, elk hunting, stuff like that, with the 10x42s, you will see deer, elk, moose, whatever you're going for, even pigs, out to 1,600 yards, and you'll be able to range them and then close in and do whatever you want, or hell, even take the shot. But they're accurate. They're extremely accurate, and you can do continuous scanning with it. There's different modes. You got yardage, you got meters. I mean, there's different options with that, and I thought it was great. The furthest I went out to, as far as a hard object that isn't reflective, was 2,300 yards, and that was a car. And I was like, man, that's really good. But I've never really got on an animal out to 1,600 yards. I live in North Texas, and if you're familiar with North Texas, there's a lot of heavy vegetation here as far as trees, and there ain't many hills. It's flat. Now, if I was up in West Texas, South Texas maybe, parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, Colorado, stuff like that, etc., I think you guys are going to have a great advantage with the Fury HD 5000. Here, I just feel like it's a little overkill, to be honest with you. I still use them, and I think they're great. But for me, being on the move, riding around the side-by-side or the pickup truck, to be honest with you, I'd rather use the Razor HD 4000. Just a little handheld binocular. I think that's perfect because it's 7x25. But I know a lot of guys that hunt from the deer blind, scanning properties and stuff like that, that can use the Fury HD, and I think that would be a great tool to have in the vehicle or in the blind or even out in the field. But me, out of the 3 rangefinders, this is my go-to right here. The Razor HD 4000, 7x25, like I said. This has continuous reading on it as well. There's also a mode on here that's called ELR, Extended Long Range, and I was able to get a rock. I can't remember the size of this rock. This rock was probably 4x5. It was pretty good sized rock, and I got out to 2,200 yards on that rock with this. The range is probably going to be about the same as the Fury HD. Deer, I can easily see you picking it up at 1,600 yards. I think I was pretty lucky on that rock because I had it. There's a little threaded down. You got a little, I think I got that down a little. I cranked down a little too tight on the mount that I had there for a tripod, and I spun it. Anyways, I had a little mount here on the bottom for the tripod, and I was real steady, and I clicked, and I got a good reading, and it was like 2,200 yards. But realistically, on an animal, elk, moose, deer, pigs, maybe 1,600 yards with the Razor HD 4000. This is a great little device to have. You can just clip it on the side of your pants, and you can just walk around if you're on the move, and it's lightweight and it's small. But then again, I know a lot of guys that are going to benefit from the 10x42 Fury, so I'm going to have to knock that one out. Knock out the Ranger 1500, the Vipers, they got to go. You know, and you're going to come down in these two just because you're able to range and scan at the same time. You can't beat that. It's obvious I got more magnification with the Fury, but it just depends on what type of property I'm on. The property that's local here that I hunt, I'm always going to use the Ranger HD 4000. But when I get up to the other properties that's way, it's just more open terrain, I think I'll use the Fury HD 5000. So that's just my honest feedback on it. Guys, it's different strokes for different folks, you know? And I know a lot of people that aren't comfortable with binoculars, and I'm one of those guys, but it's growing on me. But like I said, I'll stick with my Razer HD 4000, man. This is a great little laser rangefinder from Vortex, and don't hesitate to jump on it. It's great. Guys, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll try to get some other stuff up and going. Right now, we're playing around with the M14 from Ultimate Night Vision. That's a monocular night vision device. I think you guys will really get a kick out of that thing. It's pretty cool. We really need to be talking more about the equipment that I'm using because there's a lot to talk about. Again, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, guys, and I appreciate all the support.